Hi class, Professor Fernandez here. I thought I'd walk you through Module 2 because this will be the first module where you'll have real academic readings. You'll have some PowerPoint lectures that I've taped. You'll also have a primary source assignment where you actually have to do some writing regarding one of the sources you read this module, and the weekly analysis post regarding this module. So it's a lot of work. A lot of work and stuff in there. And I wanted to walk you through this module, although my modules following will closely follow the same format. So first of all, in your Canvas, this is module 2, January 22nd through the 28th. So this is module on colonial America. So the first thing is watch this first. So this is what you've clicked on to watch this video. All right, I break up the weeks, and I think I've mentioned this in the previous video. I break up the weeks into two parts, part A and part B, to kind of make everything a little bit simpler for you to follow. So the first thing is the required readings, which I've gone over in the past. So this module, at least in part A, you need to read Thinking Through the Past, chapter 3, the entire chapter 3 from Thinking Through the Past, and the PDF packet listed below. Remember, the PDF packet is primary sources that I found that I would like for you to read. And let me just click on that real quick just to make sure that you understand clearly what the readings are like. The first page of this packet, this is not a primary source. This is not a source. This is a prologue. So it's basically giving a description of this time period. So it doesn't kind of leave you without any point of reference. So read this to kind of get an idea of what you're going to be reading about regarding the sources. And on the second page is the first primary source. It's a Londoner agrees to provide a servant. Now, I want to stress that this italicized paragraph is not part of the primary source, is not part of the document that you're reading. What this italicized part, and it'll be pretty much for every document afterwards, if it's italicized, it's basically a description of what the document's about. So it's even giving you more background before you actually read the document. And this is the document. So a Londoner agrees to provide a servant. So read this to give you a little bit of a background, and this is the actual document, the first document in this packet. The second document, real small, a servant girl pays the wages of sin. Once again, this italicized portion is not part of the document, but it's kind of, it'll give you a heads up, a reference of what this document is about. The next document, Nathaniel Bacon proclaims his principles. Once again, the italicized is just giving you a reference of what the document is talking about. This is the actual start of the document. Next document in this packet, the governor opposed the law. I'm not going to do that for every one of these, but you're responsible for reading the entirety of this packet. Let me go back. Okay, so you should have read the entirety of chapter 3 in this book. It's a tiny chapter, by the way, and it actually has some graphs and I believe a chart or two. You've read all the documents from this packet, and then you're ready to take the reading quiz. This module 2, the first quiz, quiz A, is based off these sources, based off what's in chapter 3 and what's in the packet. So do your reading first, and then take the first quiz, quiz A. If you click on it now, as I'm in my professor mode here, but it's multiple choice. It is timed, but as long as you do the reading beforehand, you should be fine. I once had a student ask, is it open book? And I kind of smile at that because how do I know? So I would read first, read everything you need to read, and then you can have the book open and maybe it'll make you be able to go faster to the part that pertains to the question. All right, so you've done the reading, you've taken the quiz. The next thing in the module is early colonial America. Here's the actual PowerPoint lecture that you were required to watch. It's embedded, so you just click on that. And I have a note here to view the entire video podcast for important background information needed to successfully complete and analyze primary and secondary source assignments and the mandatory discussion board. We no longer have a discussion board. We have a weekly post so that I don't have to have you write 300 words every week. You're going to do a video post on a question or two that I ask. Okay, so here's the lecture. You click on that. And you can make this bigger, of course. And
Hi. Let's start with early colonial life
listen to that
in the
great
New World.
voice, right?
Chesapeake region
So watch
and
the
New
lecture.
England.
This one's about 15 minutes long. And we can go back. Okay, now you have a writing assignment, a primary source assignment, which is due January 26th. Okay, let me go back just a bit. I'm sorry. This quiz A, this reading quiz, it needs to be completed, and I have the dates on here, by January 25th. And I believe it says due January 25th by 11:59 that evening. So not midnight, but 11:59 p.m. That's the way the computer does it. It's 5 questions, multiple choice, worth 5 points. Let's go back. So that is due on Monday by 11:59 that evening. So that gives you the weekend to do some reading, take the quiz Monday. But you can take that quiz anytime you'd like, starting Friday, today. Now, this primary source assignment, if you click on it, it's giving you the rubric on how I grade that. But let me leave the student view. And here's the directions that you'll see when it opens up for you. For this assignment, I would like you to choose between Journey to Pennsylvania or American Husbandry of the assigned primary sources in Chapter 3. So these are 2 of the readings you have done in Chapter 3 already. So you pick one, and then you complete a primary source analysis for that source. So whichever one you pick, you're going to answer these questions for whichever one of these 2, just one of these 2 sources from the book that you were assigned to read. And you can do it as a Word document. That's your best bet, the Word document. Who wrote or created the document? Who is the intended audience of that document? You want to be careful about that. Who is the author talking to, trying to talk to? When was the document created? What was going on during this period? The historical context of it. Number 4, summarize in one clear sentence the main idea of the document. So just one clear sentence. 5, give specific examples from that document that support your answer for question 4. So whatever your sentence, your clear sentence for the main idea of the document in 4, question number 5 is asking you to give me examples from the document that prove that that's the main idea. Okay. Number 6, what was the purpose of this document? Why did the author write this? And what details lead you to this conclusion from the document? And number 7, is there a bias? And we talked about bias in Module 1, or it is in Module 1. But think about bias, and I'll just briefly explain again. Bias is basically, can be a male's point of view. I have a male bias, right? Or a female bias. I'm an older person, maybe I have an age bias. I'm from the South, I have a Southern bias. Biases, we see them throughout history. We all have them on how we grew up, where we grew up, our gender, our religion. So is there a bias in that document, whichever one you pick? Okay. And number 8, what is the historical significance of this document? Why is it important historically? And how does it relate or connect to issues that maybe we're dealing with today, or that you see in today's society, that we see in today's society? That one's very general. Everyone's going to have different answers on that. Maybe you see in that document it's a lot like today's stock market somehow, and you tie it in. Or maybe the document is a lot like about the real estate market today, or it's a lot like politics or whatever. This is where you can make connection connection, excuse me, and think critically. All right. And at the bottom, I have a little guideline regarding this assignment. The purpose of this assignment is to build your analytical skills, that you're going to basically tear this document apart and get inside of it. These questions are designed to help you better understand the document and its historical significance. Your job is to answer these questions with full answers. Don't give me a simple one-word answer, right? I don't want that. I want you to actually think about it, take your time, spend a couple hours, or maybe you need a day to think about it. But take your time and put effort into this assignment. Okay. I use rubrics all the time. I love them. So you can kind of see when you get your grade back how you got that grade for this assignment. Let me go back. So your primary source assignment is due, and I don't remember all the dates here. That is due also on January 26th. So that is due Tuesday. That is due Tuesday. So your first quiz is due Monday by 11:59. Your primary source assignment is due Tuesday by 11:59. So that's part A of this module. Part B, it's exactly like A. I have the required readings. You have a second quiz on the part B readings, a reading quiz online. You have 2 lectures, video lectures. And then at the end of this module, I do ask for a post, a video post, just like a Flipgrid that you did when you introduced yourself. The post, and I will click on that right now. This post, and if you have, this won't make sense to you until you finish the readings and the lectures and everything. But this post, I'm going to ask you to discuss the characteristics of early colonial society and how the colonial society on the eve of the revolution, how it changed. I'm also going to ask you, and this is all in the directions, by the way, I want you in your video to give me a thesis statement. A thesis statement is just an answer to a question, and I give you the question. The question is, why did American colonial thinking or feelings change toward the British from the early colonial society to right after the 7 Years' War with the proclamation of 1763? The third thing I want you to include in your weekly post, your video post, is I want you to pull 2 different primary sources from the assigned primary sources in the readings, right? So you can pull 2 from either the PDFs or 2 from the book, and give me 2 quotes, 1 quote per source, that prove your thesis statement. You can reference class lecture, discussion, but I do need 2 primary sources that you're going to reference with a quote from each one. Once you've done your first introduction post, or your first post, excuse me, then you need to go and view a fellow student's, and then you're going to reply to your fellow student, just like you did with your introduction post. But here I want you to reply to the post by referencing what your fellow student used. What source or sources did your fellow student use or quote, and if you agree or disagree with him or her, or if you like or dislike their post in a congenial way, of course. You'll have 5 minutes. It's a lot of time. So I would advise to make sure you maybe in your mind, or maybe you have some bullet point notes before you do your video, so you can hit everything. And I have a rubric for this also, so to help you out. Okay, I know that seems like a lot, but this is an entire module. You can do this whenever you have time to do it, but the due dates are solid. And for the weekly analysis posts, that will be due, excuse me. Your initial post is due by 11:59 p.m. Wednesday evening by 11:59, you have to have that first post. You can do it earlier, of course. And then you need to reply to a fellow student by 12 noon on Thursday, the next day, by 12 noon on Thursday. And then it starts over again Friday morning. It starts over again, module 3. Right? Okay. I think that's about it. I apologize. I probably went longer than I should have, but I wanted to go through every aspect of this, of module 2, which is how the modules are going to look from this point forward. So this is your introduction. Just take your time, but make sure and do the readings. Keep progressing through it. You can always go ahead in the module, right? So you don't have to wait for due dates. You can do the readings and do module 2 quiz A as soon as you feel comfortable. You can look at the lectures, do that primary source assignment and upload that via Word document whenever you feel comfortable before the due date of the 26th. You can move on to part B, do the readings and do the quiz B before its due date on January 26th. And you can do the weekly post way before Wednesday, 11:59 p.m. and reply to a fellow student the next day, Thursday by noon. You can do this at your own speed, but you do need to follow the due dates. So you can do everything early if you'd like. All right, that's about it. Have a great weekend. And if you'd like to meet me in my Zoom office, just email me. I know I have a few students that I'll be talking to in the next few days. Email me with the date and time, and I will confirm or let you know that I have another meeting or suggest another date or time. All right, guys, I will talk to you later. Bye.